Hello, darlings. I am ordering a new light, so I'm using the beautiful blue light glow of my monitor to illuminate this video. Have you guys noticed, by the way, how much these palms that I'm between have just been flourishing and blossoming? They are doing so beautifully. Oh, we've got a brand new leaf. Can you see that big leaf in the back there? Oh, and then this guy opening up. So, fun fact about plants. In human design terms, plants have a human design, if you want to put it that way. Animals do too. Rabbits, cats, horses, dogs. You can run their design. And so plants have a very simple design, as you can imagine, in comparison to our human design charts. But one of the most significant things is they have the channel of perfected form. And it's a part of the integration circuitry, and it is when a healthy plant is in your presence, you will literally feel like you have access to that energy of perfection. And so I always think of that when I'm around them. And I also heard a really interesting nugget from Zach Bush. He was being interviewed on a podcast, and he mentioned to the person interviewing him, I think it was Luke Story, who they're in his beautiful office with plants everywhere, and Zach goes, "Are you the one who is the water bringer to these plants?" And he goes, "Yeah, I'm the plant dad." Luke says this, and Zach goes, "What's interesting is plants will learn and remember and code your frequency if you are the water bearer, the caretaker of them. So when you are around them, they will literally perk up and physically move towards you because they know that you are a provider, a nourisher." And it's a gravitational shift that Zach has actually been able to observe as a real tried and true tested thing. Phenomenon, I think it is. So it's really cool. I always feel that when I'm around my plants. I've recently moved my altar space, and my plants are now sort of wrapping around me. I'm looking at it now, just trying to describe it. And it's been the best thing ever moving this chair here and filming from here, because that's opened up a whole corner of my little priestess temple room that is now where my sound bowls are, and I have a beautiful little table with my prayer books on it and my oracle cards, and the pillows are just perfect. My plant, as I mentioned, wraps around me. It's just perfect. Like, it's hard to believe I didn't imagine that corner being that initially. So anyway, beautiful serendipitous experience, I suppose. So I wanted to do a quick little vlog style diary as day 65, week 10. I just wanted to pop on, show up for my commitment, and share some of my energy for the day, and update you guys on a few things. So first and foremost, I am going to see Richard Rudd speak live at the Gaia Sphere in Boulder, Colorado next weekend. We are flying out on my mom's birthday. I'm so insanely excited. Libra season is just like 2 days away. The fall equinox is 2 days away. And I'm just excited about it. We are moving through the cross of duality. And when you look at human design, it's divided into different crosses and different sort of angles. And so as we're moving through this duality energy, relationships have been highlighted. And I'm sure you have experienced something or another happening in your relationship. Shifts, transmutations, endings, beginnings. And so it's I love it. I'm a big relationship person. I was not born under the cross of duality. However, I was born under the cross of civilization, which is about bringing ideas and concepts to the material plane. It's a very physical cross, and I definitely resonate with that for myself. And I also really resonate with cross of duality people. They are extremely nourishing to me. And when I'm moving through this season, it's very much so, we call it cuffing season. And it's like before those long winter nights and cold and, somewhat shorter daylight here in America still. We want to be with someone. We want a partner. We want someone to cuddle up with. And so the love is in the air. And they say, summer has that love frequency, and I understand why. I think it's more of a primal mating energy, summertime. Again, kind of that energy of matter, the civilization of thoughts and energy into physicalness, into matter. Whereas when we go into duality, we have more complex relationships developing. So if you had a summer fling, that's now developing, it has the potential to grow true roots that will last. Some of us have had things shed away and fall like the beginning of the autumn leaves, and it's important that you allow that also. Allow that to be a season, to be a lesson, to be medicine, and to allow it to leave, especially around this eclipse portal that we've just opened up. It's really exciting that we had for the past 2 years, basically, we've been moving through eclipses around Aries and Libra, which is all about relationships with me, relationships with we. It's that axis of relationships. The relationship I have with myself and my purpose and my life and my body, and the relationship I have with others, my lovers, my partners, my business collaborations. So it's that I, that me, and that them, we, us. And so me personally, I had huge breakthroughs around my long-term relationship that I was in. Huge developments finally came through with visa paperwork and things like that, and big moves, and then weddings, marriage, and then separation. And we had the last and final, thank God, eclipse around this series. It will be in Libra, and it'll be October 2nd, if my memory serves me right. I have no notes. This is a very very willy-nilly, loosey-goosey Phoenix diary, so forgive me if my dates are a little bit off, but yeah, so that will bring a close to this. And it's very personal for me in my chart. Aries makes up most of my first house, even though I'm a Pisces rising. A lot of my first house is in Aries. My Venus is in Aries. And then directly across the chart, part of my seventh house, which is committed relationships, long-term relationships. And the first house is the house of self. And the seventh house faces it. And it's about relationships with us, me, we. And it is, most of it's in Libra. A part of it is in Virgo, and most of it's in Libra for me. So this was a very, there was just no doubt about it. There was going to be relationship things, breakthroughs, breakdowns, that were going to come up for me, because it was such a personal eclipse series hitting on my personal planets and very intimate houses. The first and seventh are very, very intimate, very obvious houses. Whereas sometimes when we're looking at the 6th and the 12th, that's health of the body in a sense, but it's more day to day. And then the 12th house is very ethereal. It's dealing with psychic abilities, dream state, hypnosis, intuitive gifts dropping in. That's what I meant by hypnosis. So like you might feel like you're under a hypnotic state, or you may be inclined to pursue things along that realm, that thread, telepathy. Words are hard right now. Communicating with the dead. That's kind of like 12th house energy. It's very invisible, was my whole point of going down that little rabbit hole. Whereas the 1st and the 7th, super visible. It's the relationships you have around you, and it's how you show up in the world physically in your meat vessel. So I am excited because this shift is going into Pisces and Virgo, and that, as I've mentioned before, is the axis of health and devotion. And Virgo really approaches the material aspects of that, the earth of that, the practicality, the day-to-day of health in the body, in in home life, with scheduling, with work, organization of the practical, that could be finances, that could be logistics with where your family members go. Are they getting support? Are you getting support? And of course, is there nourishment? Is there devotion to the nourishment of the physicalness? And Pisces holds the water spectrum of that, which, as I've mentioned already, has 12th house qualities in it. Pisces is the natural ruler of the 12th house. So everything I just described with the 12th house is Piscean. So the water, the feelings, the emotions, the heart, the devotion to the emotional state, the connection to source and spirit, the connection to a higher power. This is Pisces world, and Pisces is here to embody that communication to the higher realm and translate it into the physical vessel. And using certain gifts and tools, tarot cards, psychic abilities, automatic writing, channeling. One of my most favorite channelers I speak about all the time, Esther Hicks, is a Pisces. I think she is just so in her purpose as a Pisces, channeling Abraham Hicks the way she does, and speaking and teaching and just being a conduit. So cool. So cool. So it's going to be a big shift. We're moving from fire, Aries, Libra, air, which is action and thinking and thoughts and communication, to Virgo, earth, which is very physical and practical, not in the same way that the fire of Aries is. Virgo is more so about building structures and containers and organizing what is already created, whereas fire is here to create almost from nothingness, just a spark, and boom, we have this. And also destruction comes with fire, whereas earth is more so, let's manipulate the current matter so that we can form coherence and so that we can nurture and nourish what already exists. And then we have water. So we're moving from yang yang, fire air, to yin yin, earth and water. Water is very much so about the emotions, the feelings, the unseen realm, and our spirituality. I mean, just like straight up. So this eclipse series is here to crack that open now. And isn't it interesting? During part of the eclipse series of Aries and Libra, was sort of the aftermath of COVID and the all the things that came around that. I think were very Aries and Libra energy. What are you going to do with your body? How are you going to show up in the world? What's your stance? What action will you take? What do you think about things? And how does it help you connect deeper with your tribe, or, etc. So there's a little eclipse tangent. But I just think we're in a really cool pulse right now. I think that we have the opportunity to really shift some energy that I, for one, am very excited to shift. And Pisces and Virgo is a very cool placement for me in my individual stars. So I'd encourage you to check out where you have your Pisces house, where you have your Virgo house. Do you have any planets there? And you can think about those planets getting a upgrade from these eclipses. And I've already given you an example of how my Venus got an upgrade during the Aries eclipses, and who knows what's going to happen with the remainder of this time. Maybe I'll meet my soulmate for real before the next eclipse. Wouldn't that be funny? You guys will be the first to know. when that last Libra eclipse clicks into place. It's just so cool. I love looking back to dates. I'm very investigative, so I love looking at dates and looking at timelines and referencing what was happening in my world and in my life, and just connecting the dots. And anyone that's into astrology or into human design is an investigator. We are the seekers. We're the ones that want to know why. We want to know what is making that plant grow? What is making that person be that way? It's like, I used to say when I was a kid, I wanted to be a neuropsychologist because it was the closest thing I could think of that describes what I do now, honestly. I wanted to understand, and I would say this to my mom. I was like, because she's like, wow, that's a big term. And I looked it up, and it was the closest thing at the time that, and this would have been in like 2008, 9. It was the closest thing at the time that described or attempted to describe what it is I felt I wanted to serve and help the world with, which was understanding what makes a human act the way that they do. What makes them be addicted to the thing? What makes them speak that way? What makes them behave that way? What makes them drawn to this profession or drawn to this person or drawn to this country? Like what makes them tick? And then I wanted to help them help themselves. That's where the psychology piece came in. The neuro piece came in from that, like, why? Why do you think that way? Why are you coded that way? Why are you programmed that way? And it's fucking hilarious because human design is literally here to understand what is your makeup, what are your tendencies, and to begin to decondition any stories that you may have developed that prevent you from being in alignment with your truth and living a life that lights you up. It's so cool. Gene Keys also is such a beautiful expression of that. So, maybe there's a thread of truth when we're asked, what do you want to be as a kid? And maybe we're onto something with some of the things that we say. I also said I wanted to be a veterinarian for a very long time, and now I love animals. I don't own any right now, but I've yet to see that one click into place. Maybe I'll start channeling animals and helping them communicate better with their owners. We'll see. I love you all. This is a very vlog style, so I hope you've enjoyed my little ramblings, and I hope you're just as excited as I am for Libra season, fall equinox, a new eclipse portal opening up, the finishing phase of the Aries Libra eclipse portal we've been in. I hope you will trace back the threads, look up the eclipses in the signs. Cafe Astrology is a great source for that. And see where you were at when that first eclipse happened, and what was going on for you, and where have you evolved to now as we are approaching that final eclipse in Libra that's closing out the series. Also, notice what just came up for you around this Pisces eclipse that we just had, the partial lunar eclipse around the full moon in Pisces. That is a clue and an indicator for what is going to be on your plate for the next coming years. That's a clue and an indicator for what you're going to continue to evolve on. So look for the breadcrumbs. Start to become the mad scientist that you're born to be. Find the patterns, seek them out, and see if we can help you navigate with greater ease. That's always my intention. That's why I do what I do. That's why I get so investigative and nerdy with those kind of things, because they bring grace, and they bring ease, and they bring understanding and perspective so that I can keep going. I love you all. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.